हेलो बच्चों, कैसे हैं आप सभी? एंड वन थिंग, फर्स्ट एंड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज दैट यू आर लुकिंग एट योर मेन सिलेबस. द थ्री, मैं जो शस्त्र अस्त्र बोलती हूँ, विच इज़ वेरी मच रिक्वायर्ड. आप कितना पढ़ रहे हैं उन सबसे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, बट इफ़ यू आर नॉट कनेक्टिंग, इफ़ यू नॉट understanding what kind of questions can be asked from whatever you are reading, entire preparation is good for nothing. Having the right strategy is important. So three things as a reminder which I give you every day without fail. So keep looking at main syllabus and connect the articles and the news in the newspaper, whatever you read, with the main syllabus. Second is look at your previous year question paper so that you can understand what kind of questions is expected from to come from in the prelims or main syllabus. And then keep practicing some mocks, etc. Keep practicing whatever you read. Okay, so with this little reminder, let's take the articles of today's newspaper. Well, there was no daily edition today, so we are referring international edition of the Hindu today. With that, there are two important articles which I came across and that we will be discussing, and one is model code of conduct, and then another is something related to art and culture. Okay, Carnatic music and the difference between Carnatic music and Hindustani music, etc. So let's take the first article, and that is on campaigning in the name of religion. So we have already gone through such kind of article under Representation of People Act while we were reading when elections were announced. But today we will be covering another aspect related to elections, that is model code of conduct. Like, you know, what is model code of conduct, what are the provisions, whether they are statutory or non-statutory, enforceable or non-enforceable. I hope you might be having some idea that it is in non-enforceable, it is non-statutory. तभी तो इतना इसकी अवहेलना होती है, इसीलिए तो बहुत सारे लोग इसको जो नो फॉलो नहीं करते हैं, इवन मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट आया होता है फिर भी. सो किस पार्ट के सिलेबस, आपने मेंस के सिलेबस से कहाँ से रिलेटेड है? दिस इज रिलेटेड विद जीएस पेपर 2, salient features of RPA, elections, etc. And let's read the article, entire article, and that is important. Each statement which I have highlighted is important. So read this line. What does the law say about elections mandate, how elections, how the votes are mobilized by the contestants? Okay, so section 123 clause 3 of Representation of People Act 1951, RP Act 1951, provides that appeals by candidate or any other person with consent of candidate to vote or refrain from voting on the ground of religion, race, caste, community, language. So point note करिए, किसके बारे में पढ़ रहे हैं? सेक्शन 123 ऑफ व्हाट? RP Act 1951. किसके बेसिस पे कैंडिडेट्स और any other persons cannot, you know, appeal by from the candidates cannot appeal from the voters are then voter refrain from voting on the grounds of his religion, race, caste, community, language is a corrupt electoral practice. If the candidates, the contestants appeal from the voters, the votes based on these, it will be a corrupt practice as per the Representation of People Act 1951, section 123 clause 3. Okay, further, section 123 3A, clause 3A denounces any attempt by candidate to promote feelings of enmity or hatred. So इन basis पे वोट मोबिलाइज करना तो गलत है ही, इलीगल है ही, करप्ट प्रैक्टिस है ही. फर्दर क्या कहता है कि अगर कैंडिडेट प्रमोट करता है फीलिंग्स ऑफ एनिमिटी, hatred among citizens on these grounds during elections, the RP Act further provides that anyone found guilty of corrupt electoral practices can be debarred from contesting elections for a maximum period of up to 6 years. So ये point important है, maximum period up to 6 years. ठीक है, so these are the factual information which can come into prelims as statement. And then what does the model code of conduct says, provides? So we have gone through Representation of People Act 1951. Now we are through this article going to understand model code of conduct. What does it say? The model code of conduct for the guidance of political parties and candidates is a set of norms. So look, from the article we are going to deduce some of the concepts and some of the information, but we will be having some extra content as I always provide after the article related to that concept or the issue which we discuss through the articles. So I have provided something more on model code of conduct, questions, practice questions as well, mains, prelims both. But let's understand the article. So model code of conduct for the guidance of political parties and candidate is a set of norms. So what it is a set of norms which is evolved with consensus of political parties. They have consented to abide by the principles embodied in the said code. It binds them to respect and observe in its letter and spirit. So अभी तक ये देख सकते हैं कि consensus से आया है, कोई law से नहीं आया model code of conduct. This code, which began to be implemented strictly in 1990s, provides that no party or candidate. So understand this point. No party or candidate shall indulge in any activity which may aggravate existing differences or create mutual hatred or cause tension between different caste, religion or linguistic communities. So whatever Representation of People Act says, Model Code of Conduct has also covered the same. Then further, it also provides that there shall be no appeal to caste, communal feelings for securing votes. Mosques, churches, temples or other places of worship shall not be used as a forum for election propaganda. So this is also important, that these places will not be used as a forum for election propaganda, though the MCC does not have any statutory. So this is important PT pointer for you, that MCC does not have any statutory backing. It has come to acquire strength. How it acquires strength if it does not have any statutory backing? In the past 3 decades, because of its strict enforcement by the Election Commission of India. So it is the Election Commission of India which strictly enforces Model Code of Conduct, but there is no statutory backing to Model Code of Conduct. This is a PT pointer for you to be remembered. Okay, and then the next point is, no need to look at what has been the history, etc. Look at this point. This meant that even a stray appeal for success in the elections on the ground of one's religion or narrow communal affiliation would be viewed with disfavor by the law. And the next point, the Election Commission on such occasions at best bars leaders from campaign for violation of Model Code of Conduct for, so this is about what if the violation is done, okay, for a short period, 2 to 3 days. So it, for you, a critical point is coming. Just if the violations are done of the principles in the Model Code of Conduct, Election Commission of India only bars the person for a short period of 2 to 3 days only. So this is a critical point for you. Then what is the judgment of Supreme Court on these matters? This is again important for you. Read this. In Abhiram Singh versus CD Comachan 2017, a 7-judge bench by majority of 4-3 held that 4:3 ratio mein this judgment of the Supreme Court held that candidates shall not appeal for votes on the basis of not just his or her religion. So अभी तक हम ये पढ़ रहे थे कि candidates जो हैं, they will not be appealing from the voters for the votes based on the religion. But now this judgment of the Supreme Court highlights that the candidates will not be mobilizing the votes or appealing for the votes based on their religion, but also the religion of the voters. Okay, so but also that of the voters. The majority view provided a purposive interpretation of section 123 clause 3 rather than just a literal one. So literal one की जगह purposive interpretation of this section of Representation of People Act has been interpreted by the Supreme Court in this Abhiram Singh versus CD Comachan judgment. Okay, so any appeal in the name of religion of Indian voters as a corrupt electoral practice. So this will also amount to corrupt electoral practices. Next point क्या कहता है? The elections to parliament or state legislatures are a secular practices, or this is a secular exercise. The elections are completely secular exercise. Constitutional ethos forbids the mixing of religious considerations within the secular functions of the state. Religion should remain a matter of personal faith. So religion should be a matter of personal faith. If the contestants are appealing for the votes based on religion, the election's entire election practice will become unsecular or based on religion, which is not allowed in democratic setup that India has. Okay. Next, what is needed? It has discussed what is needed. Any appeal in the name of religion. So these are some of the issues which has been highlighted. Then Supreme Court backing has been given, and then there are some of the solutions way forward which has been given as we always read in the article, that is how you should also frame your answers. Solutions or way forward भी देना चाहिए. So any appeal in the name of religion only results in the further polarization of our multi-religious society, so it should not be done. The second is, however, the primary responsibility lies with political party leaders and candidates. So Election Commission of India is there to enforce such laws, but it says that the responsibility should be taken by the political parties and they should follow a good electoral practices. So if political parties are following right electoral practices, then only such kind of democratic setup, the principles based on secularism in the country will be followed or will be abided by. So this is the way forward which has been given. Let's look at some of the extra content that you need to understand, which I have given. Though we have understood what is model code of conduct, let's have a look in deconstructed form in more easier language. MCC is a set of guidelines. So what is model code of conduct? It is essentially set of guidelines published by who? Election Commission of India. Okay, that we already have read. Conduct during the election campaign and polling. It is applicable. So कहाँ applicable है? Political parties and candidates both. ठीक है? So entire political party will have to follow the code of conduct, model code of conduct, and the candidates also. It also explains how parties can lodge complaints to the Election Commission, observers in case of dispute, and instructs how the ministers of parties in power must conduct themselves when MCC is in force. So nahi sirf code of conduct, how the political parties should act or the candidates should act, it also provides how in case of violation of model code of conduct, how the complaints can be filed to Election Commission. Okay? In 2019, a new edition regarding Election Manifesto was added, instructing parties to not issue promises which were repugnant to the ideas of Constitution. When it was introduced, history, 1960 Assembly elections in Kerala, it was introduced. So next is the MCC a law? That we have already gone through. It's not a law. MCC is not a statutory document, that we already did look in the article. It's not a statutory document. It is not enforceable also by any law passed by the parliament. Violating many of the guidelines may not attract punitive actions, okay. That we also saw that in such cases of violation, Election Commission सिर्फ 2-3 दिन के लिए बाहर कर देता है candidates को. फिर उसके बाद exceptions क्या क्या हैं? Several actions such as causing tension between caste, religious or linguistic communities, appealing to caste or communal feeling for securing votes, etc. are listed as electoral offence. These are listed as electoral offences and corrupt practices under Indian Penal Code and the Representation of People Act 1951. That also we saw in the article itself. So how are the violations done? In case of violations, how the things are taken into account? Any complaint regarding elections should be brought to Election Commission observers, returning officers, local magistrate, chief electoral officer or the Election Commission cell. In response, any direction issued by Election Commission, returning officer, district election officer shall be strictly complied with. So these are enforceability, or if there are any violations, how the actions will be taken. So this is how the actions will be taken up against the people who violate model code of conduct. Okay, let's look at some of the questions. So read the question. The model code of conduct has come into effect in India ahead of general elections. In this regard, consider the following statements. Read the statements and tell me the right answer. So the MCC comes into effect immediately after announcement of election dates and sustained till the last vote is cast. Apart from political parties and candidates, it is applicable to non-political organizations supporting political entities. No election campaign is allowed within the constituency 24 hours before the close of the polls. So if you have gone through, you should be able to answer this question, and I want you to comment in the down the video, and I want to see how many of you could get the right answer, and so that you also can understand that even after reading, are you able to solve the questions or not. Think, apply your mind and give me answer for this question. Then let's look at the article 2. The dissonant chord in the world of Carnatic music. So why this news is important for us? In syllabus, if you see paper 1, there is a section of art and culture, history along with art and culture. So this news piece will be important for us for paper 1, art and culture. And why it is important? Because of the Carnatic music. And what is the context of this news? Why this news has appeared? T.M. Krishna, the stormy petrel of Carnatic music and this year's winner of Music Academy Madras prestigious Sangeet Kalanidhi Award, is an ardent artist and avid activist. So T.M. Krishna has received Madras prestigious Sangeet Kalanidhi Award. That is why it is in news, and he is also activist. So a role of Carnatic music has been highlighted in the contemporary times. So this is the context of this news. One PT pointer that is given in this article and which has appeared in prelims question as well. Who are considered as Trinity of Carnatic music? So Tyagaraja, Dikshitar and Shyama Sastri, they are considered as Trinity. Okay, Trinity of the Carnatic music, Tyagaraja, Dikshitar and Shyama Sastri. Please note this point. This is very important for prelims perspective. Now let's look at a deconstructed or more easier language about this article. So as we read, this is the context that Carnatic musician T.M. Krishna has been awarded the prestigious Sangeet Kalanidhi Award. We already gone through artistic innovation activism, challenging orthodoxies. So this article deals all about that how through Carnatic music, some of the through the artistic innovation and activism, which the T.M. Krishna himself an activist is. This article talks about how through these activism, challenge to the society or the challenge to the orthodoxic activities or orthodoxic set of patterns in the society can be challenged. So M. Krishna's artistry is marked by a blend of tradition and innovation, challenging orthodoxies while staying rooted in the classical Carnatic music. Second point, inclusivity and social justice. An activist, Krishna amplifies the voices of marginalized communities, challenging societal norms and advocating for inclusivity and social justice. Traditional mix. His performances are characterized by a mix of traditional compositions and unconventional choices, provoking both admiration and controversy. So he has a little bit parted from the traditional ways, and his performances are a mix of traditional as well contemporary times. Okay, so practices. So this has attracted appreciation as well criticism both. So what are the reactions against this? Reactions and polarization will also be there. If there are appreciation, reactions will also come. What are the reaction? Divide. The awarding of the Sangeet Kalanidhi to Krishna has ignited a polarized response within the music community with divisions along ideological and political lines. Then different versions bhi hain. Societal division bhi ho gaya hai because of the controversies which have arisen due to his activism. The role of the artist. So if you see overall role of the artist, kya ho sakta hai? Role of the artist in the society. Role of the artist in the society. The debate surrounding Krishna's award underscores broader questions about the role of artists in the society and the intersections between art and activism. So art or activism should they be separate, or through art the artist can show certain prevalent behavioral or orthodoxy present in the society. So this is a question which is left by the T.M. Krishna and his activism while he is a classical, follower of the classical Carnatic music. So need to address issue while some argue for the autonomy of art from politics. So he says that the art and politics should be different. Others advocate for artists to use their platform to address social issues and effect change. तो क्या आर्ट को पॉलिटिक्स या आर्ट को एक्टिविज्म से अलग रखना चाहिए, या आर्टिस्ट अपनी कला यूज करते हुए दे कैन एड्रेस द प्रॉब्लम्स विच इज प्रेवलेंट इन द सोसाइटी. सो दिस काइंड ऑफ डिबेट it has sparked in the among the intelligentsia, among the scholars. Balance. Ultimately the challenge lies in the finding a balance. So solution क्या होना चाहिए? There should be a balance, and how between artistic and expression and social responsibility, recognizing that art has the power to both reflect and shape society. So एक क्वेश्चन और भी आया था यूपीएससी में कुछ साल पहले कि जो मूवीज बनती हैं, जो सिनेमा है, how it shapes the mindset of the people. Should cinema or the artist be independent of the changes or the pattern of the society which is prevalent, which whether it should shape or it should be left independent of such kind of responsibility. So same kind of debate is sparked in this also, that whether the artist or the follower or the performer of the Carnatic music, which TM Krishna is, whether he should be rightly using the Carnatic music while his performance to bring up change in the society or to question the orthodoxy prevalent in the society. So this kind of debate has been sparked. What should be the solution? There should be a solution that is a balance. There should be a balance that reflects and shape the society. Practice question. अगर UPSC में कोई क्वेश्चन आ सकता है based on this article, तो क्या क्वेश्चन आ सकता है? Analyze the evolving role of Carnatic music in contemporary society. Let's say this kind of question is asked in UPSC. So whatever we discussed, we could easily solve this question through those content which we just covered through Carnatic music. What are other aspects which you should think while you read the article? And if you have gone through previous year question paper, I'm sure that you would start thinking that there are questions based on the difference between Carnatic music and Hindustani music. So you should know the difference between Carnatic music and Hindustani music, and also the similarities between Carnatic music and Hindustani music. Let's look at some of the classical features, but before we dwell into the difference between Carnatic music and Hindustani music, let's know little of salient features of the classic Carnatic music as well. So what are the salient features? It is an indigenously developed style of classical music. It is indigenously developed. One. Second, Melakarta scheme is highly comprehensive and systematic formula which includes with its fold all the modes used in ancient as well as modern systems of music of the different parts of the world. Second, Kriti based. It is Kriti based. Unity of Raga, Tala and Shruti is there in every piece. The system gives equal importance to melody and rhythm. So this is a stark feature of this. Mixing the 3 degrees of speeds. Fewer instruments are used. Okay, in Karnataka than in the northern Indian music, and there are not exclusively instrument forms. No exclusive instruments form. There is even balance between recreativity, soulful interpretation of the composition of great masters, and creativity on the spot improvisation. Okay, so there is a balance between recreativity and between the creativity. Some of the important Carnatic music compositions are Geetam, Suladi, Swarajati, Jatiswaram, Varnam, okay, Kritanam, Kriti, Pada, Javali and Pallavi, etc. So these are the important Carnatic music composition which you should remember. So these are some of the features, salient features of Carnatic music. Further, that you need to know is, if let's say there is a question, differentiate between Carnatic music and Hindustani music, 250 words, 15 markers. So in introduction, you write a context about Carnatic music and Hindustani music, and in the main body you can form a table, or you can simply write the subheadings, and you can start writing the difference between Carnatic music and Hindustani music. And then in conclusion, you can write about some of the general point, or in such kind of questions, it is not necessary that you write a conclusion. So if we look at some of the differences between Carnatic and Hindustani music is, this is in Carnatic and Hindustani, there are 72 ragas, and in Hindustani music, there are 6 major ragas. Veena, Mridangam and Mandolin are the instruments. Tabla, Sarangi, Sitar and Santoor are the instruments. It is indigenous, which we already read in the article. Afghan, Persian and Arab. This was influenced by these. Only one particular prescribed style of singing is there. Several sub-styles are there. Freedom to improvise is there, which we already read. Scope to do variations and improvise, it's also there. Both have equal importance. More importance to vocal music is given. Okay. So these are some of the features or the differences in Hindustani and Carnatic music. Some of the similarities, both the Carnatic and Hindustani styles give principal prominence to melody. Principal prominence both gives to melody. Both has one leading swara or vadi swara. One leading swara है या वडी स्वरा जिसको बोलते हैं in every raga. Both use संपूर्ण scale, मतलब with all 7 notes. संपूर्ण scale मतलब complete. All the 7 scales are used. described Janak That or Raga to make Janya Raga. Both use a Tanpura or drone with 1 or 2 notes to signify pitch and based in Raga version. So these are some of the similarities between Carnatic music and Hindustani music. एक क्वेश्चन देखिए, MCQ है. Let me see if you can answer it correctly. Following the statements, Veena, Mridangam and Mandolin are musical instruments of Hindustani music. Correct. Tabla, is it correct? It's true. ऐसे आंसर दिख गया है, बट ट्राई करो सॉल्व करने का. एंड आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू गिव यू द आंसर. ठीक है, आप इसको ऑनेस्टली सॉल्व करो. आंसर ऐसे दिख गया है, बट आई वांटेड यू टू think and answer because we already have gone through the complete content on the Carnatic music. So read the statements and comment below the right answers, and that we will discuss in the next session. Okay, so सिर्फ पढ़ना और पढ़ाना जरूरी नहीं होता है. Whatever you read, reflection on those readings is important, and you reflect by practicing question. और क्वेश्चन प्रैक्टिस करते हुए सोचना होता है. So reflecting and thinking whatever you read is important, and how you think while you solve mocks, while you solve some practice questions. So I want you to think and find out the answer and why some of the statements are correct, why some of the statements are incorrect. That you have to find out and comment below so that we can discuss in the next session of Delhi newspaper analysis. So yes, this is it about today's session of DNA. I'll see you in the next session of daily newspaper analysis. Till then, keep reading, keep revising and keep practicing. All the best. Tathastu.